Small Press Expo 2011. We got Rusty, we got Joe, and we got
Raina Telgemeier.
Now, Raina, I don't want to say you're a superstar, but I'm thinking it. Yesterday, while we were sitting here in between interviews, a young lady walked up with her family, and she was holding something in her hands, and Rusty goes, I recognize that shirt.
She had a small
And it was
shirt.
this adorable little girl wearing a smile shirt.
Aww.
And so I said, nice shirt. And she got so excited. She's like, yeah.
Aww.
And her parents were basically telling me she stalks you.
She is.
They told me that too, and I was like, if you're telling me you're a stalker, it's not so.
It's not a good stalker to, to declare
It's
it.
a really open relationship of stalker to stalkee.
Yeah. No, and her name is Zoe. I've met her before, so I don't think that counts.
No.
She is super sweet.
She was super excited. She was just like excited that someone else knew what this was.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Yeah.
Aw, I love that.
And so that seems to be the case. You make these comics that make these little girls super excited about everything.
And you know what? When I was a little girl, like if I had had someone in my life like that who wasn't Bill Watterson, who is a recluse, it would have been really nice to like meet them and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I think that's really cool because a lot of people that come to these shows, they're here to meet a general audience. You know, they don't have anybody in specific that they not necessarily work towards, but that picks up on their work. But for someone like you, it's kind of cool because your audience is coming to see you.
Yeah.
You know, there may be other books here that they pick up on. Hopefully they do.
I think so.
But they're coming to see you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, most people that are watching this will probably be familiar with your stuff, but
I would
tell
say
us a little bit about your current books that you have.
Sure. Well, the most recent book is Smile, which is the true story of how I knocked out my 2 front teeth when I was 11 years old, and how I had to go through 4.5 years of dental reconstruction in order to get my smile back. So the book ends up being about dental work, but also about self-esteem and, you know, how you feel about the way you look and how other people treat you based on the way you look. And I mean, that was a really big part of who I became, and sort of learning to get past that and be a more happy, smiley person.
Yeah, smiling person. Way to
It was
bring it
worthy of
around.
a story, so that's what that's about.
Now,
And then-
we've known you for a number of years, and you've been working on some facet of this book for a very long time.
5 years, yeah.
I mean, that's a long time to
I
work
know.
something. And I know it wasn't a conscientious effort, like, I'm going to keep working at
Like,
this, and
just sit and
eventually
plug
it's going
on
to be
this
an
bit.
amazing book that inspires children from around the world. No, you started out, you were just making mini comics.
I was making mini comics and web comics.
Yeah.
And Smile was on the web starting
Oh,
in
okay.
2004, page a week, and I got readership built up from that. But it wasn't until Scholastic published the book version of it that it really got into kids' hands. Because I think some kids use the internet to read comics, but parents are still a little bit concerned about
Sure.
content
Yeah.
and what leads they're following. From
They don't
what
have the
websites
access
and
to just
stuff.
go out there and find stuff.
And it
as
was
much.
not on my own site, it was on Webcomics Nation, which is a great site, but it takes all kinds. Webcomics Nation has comics for adults,
Right.
and a lot of them. So I think when it was published by Scholastic, that was more of a sign that this is safe. Like, this is something you can feel good giving your kids, and that worked.
Right.
And then lots of them read it, so that was awesome.
Yeah. Now, before that, you worked on Babysitters Club, also right within your little area of influence there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're just building comics up for an audience that honestly is underserved.
Which, for me, it's just, who was I when I was 9? And I'm making comics for that person. So.
And it's funny, like you said, with Scholastic, having that automatically be like to say this is safe, this is
Right.
kid friendly. I mean, honestly, when you first started working on the Babysitters Club, that was like that was impressive, that was cool. But the fact that it was coming out from Scholastic,
Yeah.
the first thing I thought was, I remember Scholastic book fairs and
I
like
know.
book clubs, like that's so cool.
Those were the greatest days at school.
I know.
Yes.
You'd get some money from your parents, and you'd go to school, and you'd get a book.
I know. Well, that was how I first read the Babysitters Club series, was in Scholastic book fairs and book clubs. So it was really full circle.
That's awesome.
And one of the things that, I mean, when you went there, if you found something like comics,
Yeah.
oh, you'd flip it in.
Yeah, like this is
Garfield.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Garfield.
Probably got my Foxtrot books that way and Common
I
Hawk.
was so into Garfield. I would get them from the library, and I would get them volume by volume. Like, you know, there's a continuity I have to follow.
Right.
So I'm getting them one at a time. And I remember one time, like, the snarky librarian guy, and he's probably in his 20s, and he's like, I was like, I love Garfield. Isn't he the best? And he's like, he's okay. Tim Davis is pretty much, you know, he's done all the jokes he can do now. I'm like, whatever.
Whatever,
Garfield's
librarian
Still
dude.
influenced almost all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
What can you say bad about that guy? We
So-
don't like to be Jim Davis, I think. Except for the
Yeah.
selling out and making other people do your work hard.
Yeah.
Right, except for that.
But
The
aside
part
from
where you
that,
come
yes.
up with something that influences and makes people happy and
Yeah,
lasts for a long
right.
time.
Yeah.
I could dig that.
Totally.
I would be in on that.
So, what are you working on now and coming up?
Well, I'm working on another book for Scholastic Graphics, and it'll be out fall of 2012, so pretty much a year from right where we're sitting right now. The book's called Drama, and it's about theater kids. So the kids at school who are in the stage crew and the kids that are in drama club and stuff like that, and they're just putting on a play. So it's all of the drama that happens backstage when you're making a play happen.
Very
and
cool.
there is much of it.
Oh, yes.
And I'm probably 3/4 of the way through with the artwork right now, so I'll be
Oh, wow.
spending the next couple of months just really hard at work. So it's nice to see you guys now.
Yes.
Because that's it.
Exactly.
I'm going
From
away.
here,
I'm locking myself in a room.
Yep.
That's it.
Now, Babysitter's Club, obviously not. It was based on a previous property that existed. Smile is based on your life, and I'm assuming this is some kind of mix of, like, things that you did, but added.
Yeah,
some
I
other
was a
sprinkles
drama.
to it.
I was a choir girl when I was in high school, so I got involved with drama, and I actually took a lot of theater and acted in plays and stuff when I was in middle school. So it's definitely pulling from real places.
Do you find that part of the strength of Smile is the fact that it actually happened to you? Like, these kids can totally relate to it, and the idea that this is somebody's story.
I mean, some of them realize and some of them don't, and the ones who do just want to verify it with me.
Yeah.
Really, this thing is true, and this thing is true. Yeah, you really can't make that stuff
Absolutely
up.
real.
It's insane, but it's true.
Cool. So do you have a web presence right now, or?
GoRaina.com is my
Raina.
website, and I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Google Plus as Go Raina or Raina Telgemeier. So I'm not too hard to find.
Easy to track down.
Yeah.
That's good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sitting
Thanks,
down with us.
guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yay!
Yay,
Awesome.
comics.
Yay, comics!
Yes. Go Comics.